the magic of amazing woodworking skills, where precision meets artistry. When we hear the phrase amazing woodworking skills, it might bring to mind images of carefully carved furniture, intricate joinery, or flawless finishes. But woodworking at its highest level goes so far beyond that. It's not just about skill. It's about mastery, about taking one of the most ancient materials on earth and transforming it through creativity, precision, and patience into something breathtaking. It's about turning raw timber into living art. Today, I want to take you into the world of truly amazing woodworking skills. The kind of work that makes you stop and say, how is that even possible? The kind of craftsmanship that honors centuries of tradition while pushing the boundaries of what wood can become. Because once you see the full potential of woodworking, you realize it's not just a trade. It's a form of magic. And the people who practice it, they're storytellers, problem solvers, and artists all rolled into one. The foundation of mastery. So what makes woodworking skills truly amazing? It all begins with understanding the wood itself. Before a single cut is made, the master woodworker studies the material. They know how different species behave, how walnut works compared to maple, how cherry darkens over time, how oak's grain can shift with the seasons. They don't fight the wood. They collaborate with it. A true craftsperson sees the potential in every slab. They notice where the grain flows, where knots add character, where imperfections can become focal points. And that's the first secret of amazing woodworking skills. It's not about forcing the wood to comply. It's about reading it, respecting it, and revealing what's already there. Joinery, the invisible art. Next, let's talk about something that often goes unseen, joinery. Joinery is where woodworking becomes a kind of hidden magic. Perfectly cut joints, like dovetails, mortise and tenon, box joints, finger joints, hold pieces together with no screws or nails, relying only on precision and design. When you see a flawless dovetail joint locking two boards into a seamless corner, you're witnessing years, if not decades, of practice. These joints don't just hold, they last. They endure for generations, fitting together so perfectly that the seams practically disappear. And what's more amazing, these techniques have been used for centuries, unchanged because they work. The same joints that held together ancient Japanese temples are still used in modern cabinetry and furniture, proving that amazing woodworking skills are timeless. Carving, turning imagination into reality. Of course, when we talk about woodworking that leaves people in awe, carving always takes center stage. Hand carving transforms a blank block of wood into something dynamic and expressive. It could be a flowing sculpture, a detailed relief, or even delicate filigree work so intricate you'd swear it was lace. Watching a carver work is like watching someone pull shapes out of thin air. Every pass of the chisel removes what doesn't belong, until suddenly, from within the wood, a form emerges. And what makes it even more extraordinary? There are no shortcuts. Carving takes time. It takes control. And it takes the ability to see the final form in your mind long before the first cut is made. Amazing woodworking skills live in that space between imagination and execution. And carving is one of the purest expressions of that. Steam bending and shaping the impossible. But what about the impossible? What about the woodworking techniques that seem to defy logic? Consider steam bending, where rigid, straight wood is gently heated and coaxed into flowing curves. It's not brute force. It's finesse, a perfect combination of heat, moisture, pressure, and timing. The result? Furniture with sweeping arcs, sculptural elements, and organic lines that feel more like waves or vines than something that once stood tall as a tree. Watching a master of steam bending at work is watching someone rewrite the rules of what we think wood is capable of. Because in the hands of someone truly skilled, even the straightest board can become fluid, flexible, alive. Modern mastery, blending technology and tradition. And today, amazing woodworking skills aren't just about hand tools and tradition. They're about blending the old with the new. We now see artisans combining age-old techniques with CNC machines, laser cutters, and 3D modeling to create designs that were once impossible by hand alone. Imagine a wooden wall installation where every piece fits together with mathematical perfection, creating waves of movement across the surface. Or furniture that incorporates embedded resin, LED lighting, or metalwork for a futuristic feel, all while still honoring the natural grain of the wood. Modern woodworking masters aren't just keeping traditions alive. They're evolving them, expanding what's possible, and taking the craft to places we never imagined. Why amazing woodworking skills matter. At the end of the day, amazing woodworking skills are about more than just impressing people with perfect cuts or dazzling designs. They remind us of something essential, that craftsmanship still matters, that patience, dedication, and attention to detail can create things that last, not just physically, but emotionally. When you own or witness a piece made by a true woodworking master, you're holding a part of someone's time, their care, their energy, and that makes the object more than just an object. It becomes part of your story, a table where your family gathers, a chair that's passed down, a sculpture that sparks conversation for years to come. And in a world where so much feels temporary and mass-produced, amazing woodworking skills stand as a quiet act of rebellion. They remind us that beauty takes time, that details matter, that the simplest materials, wood, hands, tools, can come together to create something truly extraordinary. So next time you see a piece of wooden art, take a closer look. Study the grain. Notice the joints. Follow the curves. Imagine the hours, the years, the mastery behind every element. Because woodworking at this level is more than craft. It's more than design. It's devotion. It's legacy. And it's proof that with enough skill and enough heart, we can take what nature has given us and turn it into something timeless. And as we reflect on the wonder of amazing woodworking skills, perhaps the most profound truth is this. Woodworking at its core is not only about creating objects, it's about preserving something far greater. It is the preservation of time, of patience, of a slow, deliberate process in a world that often rushes past the details. It is the preservation of tradition, techniques passed quietly from one generation to the next, whispered through the grain of an old workbench, etched into the worn handles of trusted tools, carried forward by hands that remember what came before and dare to imagine what could come next. And it is the preservation of a relationship between human and nature. Because wood is not like plastic or metal. It was once alive. It grew. It moved with the wind, stretched toward the sun, survived seasons of storm and silence. And when a woodworker begins their craft, they are not just shaping material. They are continuing the story of that tree. Think about that. Every curve, every joint, every polished surface and carved edge. All of it is part of an ongoing conversation between what the earth created and what human hands are capable of honoring. And maybe that's why woodworking has endured for thousands of years, why it still holds such power over us today. Because deep down we recognize that in the shaping of wood, we are reminded how to shape our own lives. With care, with purpose, with respect for the raw materials we are given, whether it's time, relationships, or opportunities, and the understanding that the most beautiful results are rarely rushed. Woodworking teaches us that perfection is not the goal. Character is. It's the tiny imperfections that make a piece memorable. It's the unexpected patterns in the grain, the knot that becomes the focal point, the small asymmetry that gives a piece its soul. And maybe in our own lives it's the same. Maybe the goal is not flawless living, but living with depth, with texture, with stories worth telling and work worth doing. So the next time you run your hand across a wooden surface, a table, a chair, a sculpture, pause for a moment. Feel the history beneath your fingertips. Think of the tree it came from, the artisan who shaped it, the time it took, the love poured into each detail. And remember that in this fast digital throwaway world, there is still room, so much room, for things that endure, for things made by hand, for things made with heart, for things made to last. Amazing woodworking skills are not just impressive. They're a living reminder that we, too, can create things that matter. That with patience, vision, and care, we can leave behind something of value, something solid, something lasting, something that years from now someone else might touch and say, this was made with love. And really, what's more amazing than that? Thank you for joining me in this deeper journey into the world of woodworking, where nature, craft, and the human spirit meet in perfect, lasting harmony.